What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be showcasing an incredibly powerful weapon that is likely to become part of some of the highest DPS builds in the entire game, but it just became available to acquire this weekend, and so let's get started. Now, the weapon in question is going to be the updated Tomorrow's Answer rocket launcher, and I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off right away. This is a Trials of Osiris weapon. So if you are a PvE player like ya boy, you are gonna need to venture into the Trials playlist. Honestly, these days, it's really not that bad. There's even a card that doesn't count losses, so you can slowly work your way up to, technically flawless, redeem it for the adept version. But guys, honestly, you do not need the adept version of this weapon whatsoever. It is going to be just as good as the normal version, and Trials honestly throws engrams at you. So you can, as you can see here, after a run, even a failed run, focus all of those Trials engrams to get the god roll of this weapon. So even if you are not a PvP all-star, definitely you can drudge your way through, and it might not be the best experience, but you are going to come out with quite a few rolls of this weapon. But alright, why am I hyping this weapon up so much? What makes it so good? Well, the Tomorrow's Answer was actually in the game years ago, but it's back now with all new perks. And really importantly, as you can see here, it can get the perk Envious Arsenal. Dealing damage with both other weapons before readying this weapon refills it from reserves. Guys, this is the first and only rocket launcher in the entire game that can get Envious Arsenal. And this perk lets you do some absolutely absurd things in terms of DPS output and damage rotations for PvE. In fact, it's so powerful, other weapons with Envious Arsenal, like the Chill Inhibitor, are highly sought after, right? Envious Arsenal plus a damage increasing perk. Heck, people going after the god roll involving Envious Arsenal with the Chill Inhibitor, people wanted it so badly, it literally turned the entire game of Destiny 2 on its head because people figured out there was a glitch with the RNG in letting you get the god rolls because people were farming this weapon so hard, right? Like, Envious Arsenal is crazy. Why? Well, as you can see right here, it lets you bypass slow reload speeds. Instead of reloading, I can shoot my weapon, shoot my other two weapons, and come back to this rocket launcher. It's already reloaded. And so you can see just how many shots I'm able to get off with this rocket launcher in such a quick period of time. Now, this is just me kind of messing around against my best friend Callie here, doing some testing. I'm not even really being as optimal as I could be. Neither of my other two weapons have, for example, quick draw, which would let me ready them even faster and potentially increase that volume of fire even more. So that's one advantage, just letting you switch between all your weapons to bypass the reload. Now there's other things that do that in the game. For example, the Apex Predator, which was at one time the best rocket launcher in the game, it has reconstruction, where this weapon will slowly reload over time. So what people would do is shoot off two rockets, then they would use their other weapons for a bit, go back to this rocket, and it would be reloaded. But just this season, guys, reconstruction and auto-loading holster got nerfed. So people are looking for an alternative, and Envious Arsenal seems to be that optimal alternative. Because frankly, it's not necessarily at its most powerful in that scenario I showed you, where you're simply rotating through your weapons as fast as possible, shooting like one single shot with a primary just to trigger the requirements to get around the reload. Where it's really powerful is in damage rotations, where you are swapping between your different weapons, each different weapon serving a different purpose to get out a ton of damage. So here's an example of that. First of all, I have the Lost Signal. This is an incredibly powerful weapon. Turns out to be like almost beyond god tier, especially this season, because it's an area denial frame grenade launcher, with auto loading holster. And what that means is that I can shoot my damage over time grenade launcher, which this season is going to cause a weaken effect thanks to concussive reload, and then I can, when I get back to it, have it reloaded. And this is essentially going to let me keep weaken on an enemy 100% of the time. So I can pair that with another weapon I want to DPS with. So as an example, I have the Zealot's Reward here. The new version has auto-loading plus controlled burst for actually quite a lot of fusion damage. And so I can get that weaken effect on, I can shoot a cheeky rocket launcher, DPS with the Zealot's Reward, and then, reapply weaken, go back to my rocket launcher, and essentially what I'm doing here is like I'm trying to DPS with my Zealots, but every once in a while I just swapped my rocket, it's auto-reloaded, so I get that extra chunk of damage. Probably a better example here is with the Cloud Strike. The Cloud Strike is one of the best arguably the best sniper rifle in the entire game, for just a massive amount of sustained DPS, right? That's a special. Obviously, you have the Whisper. That's beside the point. The Cloud Strike is very good, is what I'm saying. So, you're DPSing with the Cloud Strike, you're applying Weaken with your Lost Signal that has auto-loading, and then you're just, again, cheekily swapping to your rocket, which is always going to be reloaded if you're swapping weapons in the right order, and getting that big extra burst of damage off. There's a ton of damage rotations in the game. The Izanagi's Burden exotic sniper rifle does a ton of damage, and again, you would use it in a damage rotation, getting a big powerful shot off, swapping to an auto-loading or a reconstruction rocket launcher. Well, now that those perks got nerfed, it might honestly be better swapping to the Tomorrow's Answer with Envious. That's going to guarantee that it's reloaded as long as you again swap weapons in the right order. There's a lot of really powerful rotations that you can now do with the Tomorrow's Answer thanks to Envious Arsenal. In fact, the Lost Signal here is actually insane because of the damage over time. You can actually kind of cheese Envious Arsenal. And here's what I mean. Take a look at this piece of gameplay. I shoot this enemy with my Lost Signal to get the weaken effect. I follow up with a big chunk of damage from my Tomorrow's Answer. I hit them with my primary, and then I go back to my Tomorrow's Answer, which is already reloaded. But wait a second, how is that possible? Didn't I do that in the wrong order? Shouldn't I need one more shot from my Lost Signal because I need to damage an enemy with both of my weapons to trigger Envious? But because it does damage over time, after you shoot your Tomorrow's Answer, right, like it's already ticked for a bit of damage, and that triggers Envious. So you only need to do one more swap to your other weapon and then back to your rocket launcher, and it will be reloaded. So any damage over time weapon, a Wither Horde, any area denial frame is insane with Envious, guys, and that is really upping the power. Not to mention, you don't actually have to shoot the same enemy. As you can see from these clips, I shoot with my rocket, I just hit 2 random red bars, and my weapon is reloaded. So that's pretty sick as well. You can do a ton of cheesy things with Envious Arsenal. This video, I've realized, like, isn't so much a video about how good this weapon is, the Tomorrow's Answer. It's more of a video about how good Envious Arsenal is, and it just happens to be the first rocket launcher in the game that can finally get this perk. So that is the main reason. Like, that is why this weapon is powerful. It's a rocket launcher, the only rocket launcher that can get Envious. So what do you pair with Envious? Well, you actually have a lot of good options. The best role I was able to get was with Explosive Light, and that's going to be fantastic. Explosive Light gives you a massive increase in damage as long as you're picking up Orbs of Power, and again, that's just going to be fantastic. You even have stuff like Vorpal Weapon that's going to improve the damage. Frankly, anything that improves the damage is going to be amazing, but really, the god role you're looking for is Envious plus Bait and Switch. That's right, this can also get the Wombo combo, the same Wombo combo that the Chill Inhibitor grenade launcher can get, which is Envious Arsenal plus Bait and Switch. Bait and Switch is going to give you a massive, like 30% damage boost, one of the best damage boosts you can possibly get out of a weapon perk in the entire game, as long as you hit an enemy with all of your different weapons. Well, that's exactly what you're doing anyways to activate Envious Arsenal, so those two perks go together so darn well. And so guys, 100% it's worth pausing the Black Ops 6 Nuketown 24/7 camo grind for just a few hours, hopping on trials and getting enough engrams to focus a few rolls of the Tomorrow's Answer. You might come out the other end with possibly the new best rocket launcher in all of Destiny 2 for PvE. Because this is incorporated into damage rotations so well, like, it's just the clear choice if you are doing a damage rotation. Again, if you are damaging with Izanagi, if you have another brand new exotic weapon that enters the game, which is fantastic, and you're incorporating a rotation where, you know, you're weakening with the lost signal, you're swapping to something else. It's so easy to now put the Tomorrow's Answer on and just randomly get off these quick and easy rocket launcher shots that's just going to boost your damage even more. Incredible, incredible weapon with a ton of potential, 100% worth going after. Guys, that is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis, that is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.